From the moment Anna Mitchell stepped into the modest diner on the east side of Columbus, Ohio, she carried a quiet determination that set her apart. For nearly 3 years, the Willow Creek Diner had been her second home, a place where truckers grabbed coffee. Families gathered on Sunday mornings, and the waitstaff learned your order before your name. Anna wasn't just another waitress, she was the heartbeat of that place. Balancing long hours and meager pay with unwavering kindness and grit. At 28, Anna faced the weight of responsibility far beyond the diner's walls. Supporting her younger brother, Jake, through his sophomore year of college wasn't easy. She worked double shifts, endured cold stares from customers who barely met her eyes, and tolerated coworkers who mistook kindness for weakness. The senior server, Carla, ignored some guests entirely while fawning over others. The energy in the diner shifted depending on who walked in. Businessmen in crisp suits received smiles and genuine conversations, while working-class patrons in paint-stained clothes were rushed or dismissed. Anna despised this injustice but knew speaking up came with a price. One evening, when a weary man entered wearing simple clothes but carrying himself with quiet dignity, Anna saw what others chose to overlook. While her colleagues continued their cold indifference, she approached him with warmth and respect. That moment marked a turning point, not just for the man, but for Anna herself. Sometimes, doing the right thing costs everything, yet it can also be the beginning of something far greater. Anna Mitchell wasn't looking for trouble the day she walked into Willow Creek Diner, a humble little spot nestled on the east side of Columbus, Ohio. For nearly 3 years, this unassuming diner had become her second home, a place where truck drivers stopped for their morning coffee. Families gathered for weekend breakfasts, and regulars were greeted like old friends. Despite the long hours and modest pay, Anna had stayed committed, balancing her job with the weight of supporting her younger brother, Jake, through college. Anna's world was far from easy. Her rent for a tiny one-bedroom was already steep, and Jake was in his sophomore year, struggling with textbooks and groceries. She never mentioned her sacrifices. Instead, she quietly covered the extras, working double shifts and facing down customers who barely acknowledged her and coworkers who treated kindness like a weakness. Carla, a senior waitress, often ignored certain guests while laughing and flirting with others. And Jason, a newer server, avoided entire tables. The energy in the diner shifted depending on who walked in. Well-dressed businessmen received warm smiles and friendly conversation, while working-class customers, sometimes wearing paint-stained clothes, were rushed or outright neglected. Anna despised this unfairness but had learned early on that challenging the status quo often came at a personal cost. One slow Wednesday evening, as Anna refilled sugar dispensers at the counter, the bell above the door jingled softly. An older black man entered, dressed simply but with a quiet confidence that Anna immediately recognized. His clothes were clean but worn, nothing flashy. Just a button-up shirt and slacks, yet there was a hesitation in his step, as if he already expected a cold welcome. And sure enough, Carla didn't even glance up from her phone. Jason briefly looked his way before turning back to his conversation, offering no greeting or welcome. That heavy silence filled the room with discomfort. But Anna made a choice. She wiped her hands, grabbed a menu, and approached the man with warmth. "Evening, sir. Just you tonight?" she asked gently. When he nodded, she smiled and guided him to an open booth by the window, pouring him a fresh cup of black coffee herself. Anna could feel the sharp eyes of Carla and Jason on her, yet she refused to look back. This was about dignity and respect, the very basics of human kindness. As the night went on, Anna's simple act of kindness shifted the atmosphere subtly but noticeably. Though Carla whispered derisively that Anna was wasting her time, and Jason watched anxiously for her to slip up, the man responded with genuine appreciation. That evening wasn't just about serving a customer, it was a moment of quiet courage and change. Anna knew that sometimes doing the right thing isn't easy. Sometimes it costs you everything. But sometimes, it becomes the spark that starts something much bigger. The morning after her quiet act of kindness, Anna Mitchell awoke with a knot in her stomach. She had known the diner's atmosphere was tense, but nothing prepared her for what awaited her at work. As she pulled into the Lancaster Grill parking lot, the crisp autumn air bit at her skin, mirroring the unease settling deep within. Inside, the familiar sounds of the diner felt different, colder somehow. Her coworkers, Carla and Jason, were nowhere near their usual banter. Instead, their eyes fixed on her with thinly veiled satisfaction. Anna's heart pounded as she made her way to the back office, where Tom, the manager, awaited her with an expression that offered no comfort. "Anna, come with me," he said flatly, his voice like ice. The words she heard next landed like a punch. "We're letting you go." No explanation, no warning, just a finality that left her reeling. 3 years of dedication, double shifts, and quiet perseverance all dismissed with cold indifference. She struggled to hold back a bitter laugh, disbelief mixing with anger. "Because of last night, isn't it?" she asked. Tom didn't respond, but she didn't need confirmation. The silence spoke volumes. Walking back through the dining room, Anna felt the weight of their stares, Carla's sneering smirk, Jason's barely concealed glee. She clenched her fists, furious yet determined not to give them the satisfaction of seeing her break. Outside, she slammed the car door shut, her knuckles white, her breath ragged. How would she pay rent? Support Jake? The future seemed uncertain. Then, her phone buzzed, an unknown number. Hesitant but desperate for connection, she answered. A calm, steady voice greeted her. "Anna, this is Richard Lawson." Her heart skipped. Richard wasn't just a customer, he was the owner of Lancaster Grill. He had been there the night before, witnessing everything, the cold shoulder she had endured, the kindness she had shown when no one else would. "I'm calling because your story isn't over," he said. "Last night wasn't just a dinner, it was an investigation. I needed to see who truly cares about this place and its people." Anna's mind raced as Richard revealed his plan. He had purposely allowed her to be fired to expose the toxic culture festering beneath the surface, the favoritism, the cruelty, the disrespect disguised as business as usual. Now, he wanted Anna back, not as a server, but as the new manager. "I know this is sudden," Richard admitted, "but Lancaster Grill needs someone who understands fairness, respect, and dignity, someone who won't pick and choose who deserves good service." Anna was stunned. The same people who had mocked and dismissed her had no idea what was coming. This was her chance to rewrite the story, to lead with integrity and compassion. Less than 24 hours after being cast aside, Anna found herself standing outside the diner again, but this time with a new purpose and power. The scent of coffee and sizzling bacon was the same, but the energy in the air was different, charged with possibility. As she pushed open the door, she knew this was more than a job. It was a mission to transform a place that had forgotten its heart. And Anna Mitchell was ready to be the change. After leaving Maplewood Diner feeling betrayed and disheartened, Anna wasn't sure where to go or what to do next. The sting of being punished for simply doing her job weighed heavily on her. Yet inside, a fierce determination burned bright. She refused to let prejudice and unfairness diminish the value of kindness. Sitting in her car, Anna's phone rang. It was an unexpected call from Richard Collins, a local business owner who had quietly observed everything that happened at the diner. Richard wasn't just calling to offer sympathy, he had an unexpected proposition. He wanted Anna to come back, not as a server, but as the new manager. He explained that during his visit the previous night, he witnessed firsthand how some employees treated customers unfairly, while Anna's respectful and genuine care stood out. Determined to change the culture, Richard believed Anna was the right person to lead that transformation. Initially shocked and uncertain, Anna soon realized this was her chance to turn injustice into a driving force for positive change. With Richard's support, she stepped back into the diner, this time, not as a humble worker but as a leader empowered to make a real difference. The road ahead wouldn't be easy. Anna faced resistance from longtime employees accustomed to favoritism and division. But with unwavering commitment to fairness and integrity, she began rebuilding the team, encouraging those who worked earnestly and addressing toxic attitudes. Anna's leadership revitalized Maplewood Diner and inspired the whole community. Customers noticed the shift in how they were treated, smiles returned, and satisfaction blossomed with every meal served. Anna proved that no matter where you start, kindness and justice can always prevail. Anna Mitchell had dedicated nearly 3 years of her life to working at Maplewood Diner, a humble eatery nestled in a quiet neighborhood. The diner wasn't fancy, it was the kind of place where locals stopped for coffee. Families gathered for Sunday breakfasts, and the waitstaff. Yet, beneath the familiar bustle, Anna had long observed a troubling pattern. The way some customers were treated depended on their appearance or status. Well-dressed businessmen were greeted warmly, given time and attention, while working-class patrons in worn clothes were often rushed through or ignored entirely. Anna found this unfair and disheartening. But she had learned to keep quiet. Speaking up often meant trouble. That changed one slow Wednesday evening when an older gentleman named Mr. Ellis entered the diner. His clothes were simple but clean, and he carried himself with quiet dignity. Anna noticed the hesitation in his steps as he scanned the room, bracing himself for the cold shoulder he usually received. Indeed, some of her Anna could not stand by. She wiped her hands, took a deep breath, and approached Mr. Ellis with warmth. "Good evening, sir. Just you tonight?" she asked gently. His steady replies softened the air in the room. Anna led him to a cozy booth by the window, personally poured his coffee, and made sure he felt seen and valued in a place where he was often invisible. But kindness came at a cost. Whispers followed Anna's every step. The senior waitress sneered that she was wasting her time, and the younger server watched her like a hawk, waiting for her to slip up. Even the manager peeked from his office, expression unreadable. That night, Anna went home uneasy, sensing she had made herself a target. The next morning, Anna was called. Then came an unexpected call from Richard Lawson, the owner of Maplewood Diner. He explained he had been visiting his restaurants unannounced, watching how employees treated customers. Anna was the only one who showed true respect and kindness. He told her he had fired the previous manager and wanted Anna to return, this time as the new. Faced with this turning point, Anna hesitated but soon accepted. The next day, she walked back into Maplewood Diner, not just as a server, but as a leader determined to change the culture from within. Anna's story is a powerful testament to the courage of doing the right thing, even when it comes with risks. It reminds us that respect and kindness are never wasted and that sometimes standing firm can spark the change a community desperately needs. After stepping into her new role as manager of Maplewood Diner, Anna Mitchell quickly realized that changing the restaurant's culture would be no easy task. The atmosphere was thick with resistance. Some staff members resented the shift, while others were cautiously optimistic. Beth, the senior waitress who had once dismissed Anna's kindness as a waste of time, now barely spoke to her, replacing smirks with cold silences. Jason, the younger server who had watched Anna with skepticism, sulked through every shift, making it clear he was staying only because he had no better options. Despite the cold reception, Anna remained undeterred. She knew that real change would take patience and persistence. Her first days were spent observing the staff closely, identifying who was genuinely committed to improving and who was holding back. Slowly, she began to push the team in the right direction, encouraging open communication and fairness. The kitchen staff, long silent and resigned, began to speak up, offering suggestions and pointing out instances of unfairness they had previously accepted as the norm. Anna's leadership also inspired the younger servers who had once followed Beth and Jason's lead. They began to watch Anna's example and reconsider their behavior. One evening, Noah, a busboy working nights to pay for college, stopped Anna during a quiet moment. "You got rid of Tom for that?" he asked cautiously, referring to the former manager known for his harsh treatment of customers. Anna looked him in the eye and replied simply, "I care." That short exchange marked a turning point. Gradually, the entire energy of Maplewood Diner started to shift. Customers who had once been ignored or rushed began to linger longer, smiling more often when they saw Anna at the counter. Regulars who rarely spoke now shared stories about their days, and tips grew noticeably more generous. Even skeptical staff members began to follow Anna's lead, recognizing that fairness and kindness were good for business. Anna knew that this transformation wouldn't happen overnight, but every small victory fueled her determination. She wasn't just managing a diner anymore, she was fostering a community built on respect and dignity. Through her unwavering commitment to doing what was right, Anna had become a beacon of hope, not just for her team but for every customer who walked through those doors. As the weeks passed, Anna Mitchell's influence at Maplewood Diner grew stronger, gradually transforming the workplace atmosphere. The once toxic environment, where favoritism and indifference ruled, began to shift toward fairness and respect. Anna's leadership was not without challenges. Some longtime employees resisted, clinging stubbornly to old habits, while others quietly watched, unsure if real change was possible. Beth, once a symbol of resistance, now barely spoke except when necessary. Her usual smirks replaced with tight-lipped silence. Jason's sulking continued, though it was clear he remained only because he had no better options. Despite the resistance, Anna welcomed the challenge. She understood that culture change takes time, patience, and persistence. She spent long hours observing, listening, and learning which staff members were genuinely committed to improvement and who simply needed encouragement. Little by little, those who had remained silent for so long began to find their voice. The kitchen crew, who had historically kept their heads down, started to offer suggestions and point out unfairness. Emboldened by Anna's supportive leadership, even the younger servers, who had previously followed the lead of Beth and Jason, began to shift their allegiance. They started to emulate Anna's fairness and dedication, inspiring a ripple effect throughout the team. One evening, Noah, a college student working as a busboy, approached Anna during a quiet moment. "You got rid of Tom for that, didn't you?" he asked cautiously, referring to the former manager known for his mistreatment of customers. Anna met his gaze firmly and replied, "I care." That simple exchange marked a turning point for the staff, signaling that kindness and integrity mattered. Slowly but surely, the energy at Maplewood Diner began to transform. Customers who had been overlooked or rushed in the past started to linger, smiling more frequently when Anna greeted them. Regulars who rarely engaged began sharing stories about their day, and tips increased noticeably. Even the skeptical staff who doubted Anna's methods started to follow her example. Realizing that respect and fairness weren't just moral imperatives, they were also good for business. Anna understood that meaningful change was a journey, not a destination. Every small victory fueled her determination to create a workplace where dignity and respect were the norm. Her commitment to doing the right thing resonated not only with her team but also with the community that frequented the diner. Through her leadership, Anna had turned a struggling diner into a place where kindness and fairness could flourish, proving that true transformation begins with one person's courage to stand up and lead. As Anna Mitchell settled into her role as the new manager at Maplewood Diner, she quickly realized that her challenges extended far beyond the restaurant's daily operations. The toxic culture of favoritism and subtle discrimination had long poisoned the workplace. And turning that around required more than just firm rules, it demanded a shift in mindset. Anna faced resistance from key staff members like Beth and Jason, who resented losing their unearned privileges and openly challenged her authority. Despite the pushback, Anna remained steadfast. She understood that change was a process, not an event. She carefully observed her team, identifying those willing to adapt and those clinging to old habits. It was clear some needed encouragement, while others required confrontation. Anna never shied away from tough conversations, emphasizing fairness, respect, and professionalism as non-negotiable standards. The young busboy, Noah, became an unexpected ally, a college student working nights to support himself. Noah quietly admired Anna's courage to stand up against injustice. One evening, he stopped her while she was cleaning tables and whispered, "You really took down Tom for being rude to customers." Anna's simple response, "I care," carried more weight than words, signaling a new era of accountability. Over time, Anna's influence rippled through the diner. The once silent kitchen staff began voicing ideas to improve workflow and equity. Servers who had previously followed Beth and Jason's lead started to emulate Anna's inclusive and respectful approach. Even some resistant employees softened, though a few chose to leave rather than change. The atmosphere gradually transformed from tense and divided to cooperative and hopeful. Customers noticed the shift as well. Patrons who once felt overlooked or rushed found themselves welcomed warmly, treated with dignity regardless of their appearance or tipping potential. Smiles returned to the faces of regulars, and new customers were drawn by the diner's renewed spirit. Tips increased, and the staff's morale lifted. Anna's commitment had rekindled a sense of pride and purpose in the workplace. Anna Mitchell's journey was far from easy, but it highlighted an essential truth. Leadership grounded in integrity and compassion can dismantle toxic systems and foster environments where everyone feels valued. Her perseverance demonstrated that lasting change requires courage, patience, and a willingness to confront discomfort for the greater good. Anna Mitchell had never imagined that a routine day at Maplewood Diner would turn into a defining moment in her career. After months of steadily transforming the toxic work culture, she was finally beginning to see the fruits of her labor. But change was never smooth. Just when she thought the toughest part was over, Anna faced a new challenge, proving her leadership was more than just a temporary fix. It was a busy afternoon when Richard Lawson, the diner's owner, walked in, unlike his usual reserved visits. This time he came with a purpose. Anna was balancing invoices when she heard his voice from behind. "How's my investment doing?" he asked with a hint of a smirk. Anna looked up, momentarily taken aback. The restaurant buzzed with more than just customers today. The energy was different. Lighter, and more purposeful. She smiled confidently and said, "I think we're in good shape." Richard's gaze swept the room, noticing the staff moving with renewed motivation and the positive vibe filling the space. "I told you you'd do fine," he said approvingly. Anna's smile grew. For years, this job was just about making ends meet, paychecks and long shifts, but now it meant something more. She wasn't just a waitress anymore, she was the boss. And she was determined to keep Maplewood Diner from ever slipping back into its old ways. This transformation wasn't without sacrifices. Anna remembered the initial backlash, the smirks from Beth and Jason, the quiet resistance from coworkers who had long benefited from favoritism and discrimination. But her resilience never wavered. She made it clear that fairness and respect were non-negotiable. Slowly, the resistant voices faded as more employees embraced the new culture. Some left, unwilling to change, but others stepped up, inspired by Anna's integrity. Customers noticed, too. Regulars who once felt invisible began to smile more and tip better. Drawn to the diner's newfound warmth and respect for all patrons, Anna knew the real victory was in changing hearts and minds, not just schedules and roles. Richard's support made a world of difference. He trusted Anna because she understood that leadership was about more than profit margins, it was about people. "You didn't give me a choice," he chuckled during one late-night meeting. Anna laughed softly, thinking back to that cold morning when she felt like she had lost everything. Now, she held the power to shape a workplace where kindness and fairness were standard, not exceptions. Anna Mitchell's story is a testament to the power of courage and integrity. Sometimes, doing what's right costs everything, but it can also bring far more than you ever imagined. For Anna, it was about creating a space where respect is earned and given freely, proving that leadership rooted in empathy can change lives.